McCain prepares to flee D.C. to avoid 20 years in prison after subpoenas are issued overnight. John McCain has been embroiled in the constant anti-Trump rhetoric and impeachments since the beginning, and the most recent scandal has McCain front and center in the fake Trump dossier situation. John McCain will never be anything but a traitor to this country, but to add insult to injury be possibly helping procure a fake and rather disgusting dossier on the man that is the president whether they like it or not is an affront the likes of which McCain will never come back from. Now McCain has just been busted in committing an enormous felony that carries a 20-year prison sentence and will soon be dragged into a courtroom to testify about what he did. Having been the man who personally handed the now infamous dossier over to the feds on top of being the only one to have had the entire document prior to it reaching the liberal media is quite telling, and it appears that the dots are finally being connected within the system as well. A former State Department official and current senior director at the nonprofit McCain Institute, David Kramer, has just been subpoenaed to testify about his visit to the dossier's author in London in 2016. And soon McCain will also be forced to testify in court about working with a British spy to undermine our government and subvert our president. Working with foreign governments to overthrow the President of the United States as McCain has done is a serious federal crime as spelled out in 18 U.S. Code 2385 that could land him 20 years and behind bars. Working with foreign governments is additionally a violation of the Logan Act, as citizens are prohibited from negotiating with foreign governments in order to undermine our government. Freedom Daily reported. According to court documents in the British lawsuit, lawyers for Steele reveal that McCain was one of the only people in Washington, D.C., who had copies of the full document before it was circulated among liberal journalists and then published by BuzzFeed. McCain will now be forced to leave D.C. in order to testify under oath about what he knew, and why he decided to spread fake news about Trump, as he was obsessive in his pursuits to get his grubby hands on the 35-page dossier. The Guardian reported. Senator John McCain faces questions in a defamation lawsuit about leaks leading to publication of the now infamous dossier that alleged Donald Trump's campaign had connections to Russian operatives, McClatchy has learned. The dossier compiled by former British spy Christopher Steele and his London firm, Orbis Business Intelligence Limited, amounted to a collection of uncorroborated reports of collusion gathered as political research for sale to Trump's opponents. It proved explosive when published by online news site BuzzFeed on January 10. Now, two lawsuits, one in the United States and a second in the UK, are being brought by lawyers for Guberev, a Cyprus-based internet entrepreneur whom Steele's Russian sources accused of cyber-spying against the Democratic Party leadership. According to a new court document in the British lawsuit, counsel for defendants Steele and Orbis repeatedly point to McCain, Republican Arizona, a vocal Trump critic, and a former State Department official as two in a handful of people known to have had copies of the full document before it circulated among journalists and was published by BuzzFeed. From the Hill. The House Intelligence Committee has issued a subpoena to an associate of Senator John McCain, Republican Arizona, over his connection with a controversial dossier containing unverified allegations about President Trump and his ties to Russia, The Hill confirmed on Wednesday. From Breitbart. Philadelphia, Senator John McCain may find himself facing serious questions following the disclosure that the Hillary Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee helped fund research utilized in the infamous, largely discredited 35-page dossier on President Donald Trump. If this doesn't stick to his bones, then nothing will. McCain has been shown to be a criminal of the highest order for years, and nothing seems to take him down. This is definitely one rhino that needs to be permanently removed from any form of office, and preferably slammed into a cell for the remainder of his life.